So at this point, Ventus is going to say, "This is a great plan, but it all depends on the linchpin, the keystone. Is the foul dragon beast going to come out so we can sleep?"
It sounds like the tiny dragon beast already is.
Yeah, somebody doesn't have confidence in your plan. We heard somebody scream from behind.
I thought it was a cat.
Yeah, it could
Oh, it's a kitten. I got a new kitten. It's glorious, but Patches hates it. So we're doing like separation rooms right now and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now it's the kitty's turn. The kittens.
Yeah, I just went through that. My cats are fine now, though.
So, yes, Uthor and Tartha turn to you and say that not everything is known of this fight. If you wish to back out now, we can find our own solution to this fight.
No, we're in.
No, yeah, I agree 100%. I was like, whatever plan we have, I am down.
Law is like...
If she doesn't come, then dragons are prideful, aren't they? We'll just call her names until she shows up.
She is
on one hand... I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, she is a prideful dragon at that. Go ahead, Laura.
Make fun of her scales.
What were you going to say, Laura?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, when he was saying that about, like, for people such as us, she's kind of basically like a fool's errand. Like, Laura wanted to say, like, you know, I want to say this is, like, not the most stupid thing we've ever done, but, that would be a lie, because this is pretty much, like, the most dangerous thing I think we've ever encountered by a country mile, and then some.
And so Uthor has gotten a yes from Krev and Ventus. He looks at Laura and says, "Do I take that as agreement as well?"
You can take it as agreement. All I want is for you to trust us on the level that we trust you. We both have a common enemy. We both want to rid the world of Imarith and restore the ordering and make things right again. So for people such as us, you know, well, I say us, but mostly my companions, you know, their lives, it's kind of like an instant on this world, whereas both yours and mine, as giants and elves, we live a very long time. But as an elf, I do not have your giant strength. I do not have your wealth of resources or half of your power, to be honest with you. However, what I do have, as small as it might be, is courage. And I wouldn't be doing this unless I thought we had a way of victory. If this was completely hopeless, then I don't think any of us would be standing here.
My sister-in-law and my niece may actually have seen something of truth in you people. May have. And he turns to Brile and says, "What say you? You have been quiet."
I typically am.
If he didn't want to do this, we'd have heard it by now.
Someone needs to keep these guys alive.
By the way, can I just say when he said that, like, I just want to say, under Law's breath, he just mumbled, "I can tell you what your sister saw in me."
Oh, jeez.
I'm joking. I wouldn't say that, because I don't want to die. I don't want to die before the fight, okay? I'm joking.
I'm considering a stealth check.
So,
see how quietly you said that.
But I did want to say, so if we're doing attacking from the ship at all, and we haven't done this previously, but I was thinking if we could get like some oils and pitch and whatever, because I mean we were using the oil and flame thing in the beginning, right?
I don't think the ship was part of this.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood something then.
I thought we were pairing up with giants and approaching.
Ventus had mentioned potentially using the ship too.
Okay.
But
Sorry.
So I was thinking that this was going to be like in tandem, that we'd be in flight and the giants would be on land. But that's fine. Or we could have someone on the ship maybe.
The reason I'm loath to bring the ship in is that, I mean, part of our plan is lure Imarith out. The first thing she's going to do is rip the ship out of the sky.
And the Duchess also nods and says, if Imarith doesn't, the trebuchets would most certainly. Would you rather be on a falling ship or standing on ground?
I have to say, look, Brett, just
Safe enough.
1 minute. Are they trebuchets or are they ballister? Because like I don't know if a trebuchet would be able to hit a flying target so easily.
You know what? I might be flipping the words around. 1 second.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, it says here trebuchets. It can be. They have bolts that can, and you would know this of trebuchets in general. That can be loaded, aimed, and fired.
Bolt?
That's the.
I think.
I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, right?
If we're
Trebuchet's
talking
fire,
about,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
trebuchet fire.
Trebuchet shoots boulders of fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, I think we're talking more rocks than bolts. Excuse me.
Okay, then yeah, it is trebuchets, and in
But
that case, yeah, a game of catch sounds appropriate for the giants.
Yeah.
Regardless, if they're on a pivot,
And it is a
the-
trebuchet. Excuse me. Yeah, keep going.
So the thing is-
It's a powerful catapult that throws its payload in a high arc.
if they're on a pivot, and you're familiar with how the projectile motion from it works, absolutely, you could hit a moving target with it. You'd be leading it and such.
Yeah, I guess it depends how who's piloting the airship and the maneuvers and how well the skill of the trebuchet.
Oh god.
Right.
It's not a fighter craft. It's like a blimp. You
I
can't turn it
mean-
very fast.
So here's my 2 cents on the issue. We should probably bring the airship close in case we need to get away and can't via conch just because. It's nice to have a backup plan, but probably not take it into battle.
Okay. And the Duchess says we plan to fly rocks to the area of the battle, but we will dismount before we are within range for the exact same reason. If our mounts are taken out, then we will.
We cannot fly.
Yeah. It's not as good as dead because they're pretty hardy, but why put ourselves in harm's way of having to fall and take damage essentially? Uthor's listening to all this and is looking slightly more impressed, if anything, and turns to Lore and says, "Maybe after all, you have hearts of giants." And turns to Lore and says, "You are wishing for my strength. Would you like to have it?"
I would.
And he nods to one of the guards that brought you here and who leaves the study, goes down the stairs, takes a right into the storeroom. There's a few seconds, and then he returns. Laura's probably hoping that he's got a blade with him, but he doesn't.
He's got a belt with him, doesn't he?
Who has a belt?
The storm giant that came back from the storeroom.
A belt.
Eh? Or girdle.
Yeah, probably has something like that. Why?
I'm guessing. Like, he said, you want my strength.
Mm-hmm.
This is me, the player, guessing, is he about to basically loan us a belt of storm giant strength?
Oh, you wish too much.
I remain ever hopeful, Brad.
This guard returns with 4 potion bottles in his hand and is bringing them to Uthor when Braxo, excuse me, and some of the other fire giants and the one other fire giant there starts to kind of murmur, and they're obviously having a little bit of problem with this. And Uthor says, "I will bestow upon each of you a potion of giant size." And there's the info for you. You become huge for 24 hours. Your strength becomes 25. Your hit point maximum is doubled. And you get some extra stuff based on it.
Okay, maybe we can take the dragon on.
How would that impact me if I was shapeshifted?
I'm going to assume that it says if you're medium or smaller, otherwise the potion does nothing. So I don't know, we're going to have to figure that one out. I would say that if you're shapeshifted into something that is larger than medium, you get whatever that is. If you shapeshift into something that's medium or smaller, you get whatever that creature has plus the bonuses of the potion size.
So think about doing basically a wolf, like a standard wolf, which is a medium creature, and then make its strength 25, double its hit points, and add everything from here, and including the additional damage. Yeah.
And now there's all kinds of murmuring as he says this, and the storm giant that's with Braxel, Vasha, kind of speaks out of turn and says, "You would provide them. We are attacking a dragon, and you are going to provide people that we do not trust with the abilities to even attack us." And there's all kinds of cross-talk and arguments about this. Duchess Tartha holds up a hand and says, "May I suggest a solution?" And people kind of quiet down a bit and turns to Uthor and says, "I understand what you are trying to do and that we are going up against an ancient dragon, and I believe the choice you're making is right. To calm people that may not be as confident in your choices as I am, I will suggest this to calm everybody's thoughts, that we hold the potions until we are in position, like, and she doesn't mean like at the actual edge of battle, but close to battle. That way, if the small folk do not receive these from us, they will not fight with us and all is lost. But at the same time, we will not provide them to them so that they can just teleport back and attack the stronghold." I believe that would clear. I believe that would clear everybody's fears, because obviously these guys aren't totally trusting of you at this point.
Okay, I actually step forward a moment and say, Your Grace, Your Imperator, if this doesn't work, other members of your kind will continue to attack the towns and cities of the small folk. They will continue to the deaths will continue. If we you know who we are, you'd be able to find us. Our civilizations would not be able to stand up to constant assault from your people. If we were to attack you, we'd doom ourselves. This is our one chance to make this right.
And Uthor looks at you and says, "Fear not that I do not fear any attack from your kind, magically imbued or not. But I do have to take my people's thoughts into consideration." And he looks over at Vasha with a bit of a cold glance, and you can kind of see Braxel kind of attempting to calm Vasha a little bit. There's obviously been some conversation since you've been gone about how much to trust you in this, and whether this is a giant problem, and whether small folk should be even involved. And now that providing these potions to quote unquote make you giant is being seen as a little bit of a as a what's the word I'm looking for?
Slight.
Slight. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I step forward as well and just put my hand on Crow's shoulder, and I look at Ufa, and I say, as we've already discussed, and as is well known, none of us for small folk, as you put it, have to be here. We're doing this to help you, and to help ourselves as well, to help our kind and yours to stop this like endless battle. None of us are. We're all risking our lives here, and I get that you're skeptical, and I look at the other giant lords at this point, and I get that you're fearful of another attack against your people. But at the end of the day, we don't have to be here right now having this discussion. We could be halfway across the realm on an airship doing something completely different, but we're risking our necks and our lives here to fight alongside you. And if it makes you feel better to not give us these potions or whatever, have you until the fight, then fine. If that will make you trust us. But I want you to know that we don't have to be here. We don't have to be doing this. We could let you deal with this yourselves. None of us are doing this for glory or for recognition or for fame or money or rewards. We're all here to make the world a better place. And I hope you can trust us and see that our intentions are true. We're not trying to con you out of your lives or your power or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll step back.
Uthor glances at Braxel. Obviously, there's a bit of a hierarchy here between Braxel and Vasha, even though they're both stone giants. And Braxel says, with great honor and esteem, Vasha does have a point in terms of how it is being perceived, the type of powers that you are passing along to these people. And she doesn't say that, or he doesn't say that in a slight or quote unquote racist way, but just being diplomatic. And he says, I believe you should, and he's speaking quite calmly. I believe you should allow cooler heads to prevail so that we all achieve our goal. If the and he calls you an elf because he probably doesn't know too much difference between elves and half elves. If the elf believes it's fine for the Duchess to hang on to them, I will ensure that they are given to them at the proper time.
I mean, I am actually an elf, by the way. Not
I thought you were half elf for whatever reason.
No,
Okay.
Edro was half elf.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Laura's a full elf.
So Uthor nods and looks at Duchess Tartha and says, it will be, and has the guard hand them over to the Duchess. But he turns back quickly to the entire congregation, as it were, and says, this next decision will not be challenged. And he looks directly at Vasha, and he nods at the guard who has now passed on the potions and comes back to Uthor, who hands him a dragon claw. And he says, even with the potions, you are up against great odds. I know these giants are willing to lay down their lives for their kin in the ordning. And they will have a tough time at this battle. I will hand you one other treasure from our great treasury. And this dragon claw is covered with, like, it's like, it looks like molten silver. And there is a rune on it, which he explains is the dragon rune. And he hands it to you. Probably hands it to Ventus, maybe, given that he's I don't know, hands it to somebody. Somebody takes it on. And this is the claw of the worm rune. As an action, you can point the claw at a dragon within 30 feet of you. The dragon must succeed on a DC 15, or be vulnerable to all damage types until the end of your next turn. It can be used 3 times, and recharges next dawn. When the claw is displayed on your person, you have resistance to the damage caused by any dragon breath weapon. Kind of reminds me of a breath shield. Maybe that's a different game I was playing. Right, Seth? Who was it that said, I don't think we're going to be running into dragons anytime soon?
I think you mean breastplate, sir.
Yeah.
And yes, I do remember it quite well.
You can transfer the claw's magic to any place by tracing the worm rune on the ground in your finger, with your finger, but if you do that, the claw is destroyed and the area gains that property, I think, in perpetuity here.
Yes, but we're not going to destroy the claw, because it doesn't belong to us.
He says, no, this is a gift. You may keep this and do with it what you will, for your attempts to right what has been wronged, and for the hope that you elevate yourselves in the eyes of not only myself, but the giant folk that do not necessarily believe the way that my sister-in-law and niece do. I'm giving you everything I can in hopes that you prove yourself to be those that my sister-in-law and niece saw in you. And
Well,
other
not
small
ev-
folk.
At this point, basically thoughts are running through Krev's head. It's like, shit. I'm either going to live through this epically or I'm going to die. Because running away is not an option anymore.
At this point, Lloyd's thinking, look, you're not giving us everything. I want my bloody sword back.
So as soon as Vorpal Ventus gets us, he's going to disrobe his cloak of elvenkind, fold it up nicely, hand it to Seth, and then take the dragon claw and say, "We now have a mighty weapon for Imrith." By the way, Seth, that thing gives you advantage on stealth rolls when you pull the hood up. It gives disadvantage to perception checks against you, and it's an attunable item.
I would take this gladly. The only problem is I have a cloak of protection, so I think they would overlap a little bit.
Oh, well then who wants the cloak of elvenkind for being stealthy?
I'm also using a cloak of protection as the thing.
And it requires attunement, by the way, so it's one of your 3.
I think we all have a cloak of protection pretty much.
I think you have like a torque or something of it, so that you could use it in beast form. What do I have for magic weapons?
Well, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to get rid of my staff, and I'm not going to get rid of what else do I have?
Hold on to the cloak for now. We will make sure that it gets assigned to someone appropriately as need be.
Yeah, perhaps we'll give it to Boral's next character after he dies.
Or mine.
Oh, I have the fire Ildrune. So I have the fire Ildrune, and I have my staff for sure.
So what I would suggest is between now and next session, you decide on what the 3 things that you want to be attuned to, and obviously you're going to have time between now and then to break attunement.
Sounds good. All right, perfect.
So the final part of this conversation is transportation there. I kind of hand waved this last time because I just thought teleportation just kind of goes anywhere, but they can teleport you to a permanent circle or an associated object, something that they're very familiar with, and it's 100% bona fide going to work. And they have a teleportation room, as it were. The giants obviously aren't going to go up for that to go to Imrith's lair because there's a possibility of error. So they are going to teleport to a known area. I quite frankly don't know, but somewhere in Faerun where they can muster with their rocks and fly there. They'll probably attempt to teleport as close as possible to the lair and rendezvous with the rocks. And then fly there. But as they mentioned, they don't plan on taking the rocks right into the battle because that's also another backup plan to get the heck out of there. And they don't want the rocks to be attacked, especially while they're flying them. So I guess it's up to you guys to determine how you want to rendezvous with them as well.
I was kind of assuming we'd go with them on the rocks.
Mm-hmm. Because the rocks could carry one giant and probably one of you guys, so you could kind of double up on the rocks as well.
Shall we? Besides, this means that Bral gets a good up-close look at a rock for later use.
Yeah, for shape-shifting.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And they have 120 fly speed, where the airship has 80.
The airship does not.
Yeah, the 80 airship.
But aren't they like, what the hell what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god.
Like the type, the rock, you mean?
Yeah, they're an 8, aren't they?
Oh, they are an 11, a 1-1.
Oh my god. I would need to be pretty high level for that. Like off the scale, but
Still,
I could try.
Krev kind of wants to just fly on a rock because he thinks that's kind of cool. But yeah. And so, who's going to go with which giant? I figure Ventus may want to go with Her Grace, the Duchess there, and I'll go with the other fire one because they were going to be the ranged attack initially, right?
Yeah, I'll be going whoever's on the front lines.
So, you and a beast-shaped Barial will likely go with Braxau and Vasha.
And the
Sounds good.
yeah, the Duchess actually looks at Ventus and says, I hear you are a fire thrower.
You cut out. What'd you say?
She says, I hear you are a fire thrower.
I let a little bit of fire produce in my hand, and I say, "Oh, yes, ma'am." And then I in my hand, they're like the three little jingle balls, like the little Dragon Ball things, and I'm just kind of
Had a different
around.
picture, but keep going.
No, not that. Get your mind out of here.
And she just smiles and she says, we will get along famously.
Do you like the fire, my lady?
Oh, yes, I do. Good sir.
I do believe we will be the best of friends. Come. Tell me the temperature you like to cook your pork on.
Oh wow! Okay.
Hot.
If the next word out of your mouth is not, can I put my pork in your oven? I'm going to be very disappointed.
I'm so sorry. I was like trying not to say sexist things, but like it's still coming out.
And that's where we're going to leave today's session. And the next session, when we all get back together, will be the attack on Imrith's lair.
Alrighty.
Dun dun dun! Next week, boys. It's gonna be fantastic.
Did we level?
What level you got? What? Yeah. When did you level last? What level are you at? And when did you level
We're
last?
level 11. I think we leveled like a few sessions ago, like 2 or 3.
I'm sure it was 7 or 8 or 10.
We leveled after the Cloud Giants. When we finished basically robbing them blind and we retreated from there, you let us level to 11.
To be completely fair, I don't know if we should even be level 11 right now, but like,
if you let us be level 12, then my spells become that much more difficult to resist.
I wouldn't say no either.
Yeah, let me put it this way: you're close to what the adventure suggests you should be, so we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
I like.
Yeah. So the next. How are you? Yeah, Death.
Are we going straight there? Are we going straight there, or is there? Are we doing like get your sleep, we strike out in the morning sort of thing?
Oh my god! Please let it be the second one. Please let it be the second one.
I kind of like the second one.
You've already had a long rest before you got here, but it's up to you guys.
If we do the second one,
they're hopping to they're hot to trot. They want to get going, but
okay, then we're probably leaving immediately.
Maybe we can take like a short like a convince them like maybe we take an hour to prepare and all get ready and then we leave, sort of thing.
Sure. What
like make sure all the giants have their weapons and their armor, and whatever else.
Yeah.
Because I want to steal my fucking sword back.
Oh jeez.
To be fair, if I figure out what he's trying to do, I am going to tie you up for that hour.
Hey, Laura gets his wish.
I was expecting I'll tie you up or I will help you steal it.
I was
trying to save your. I am trying to save your life, so I will show you how good Krev is with knots at that point.
So the giants would be okay with a short rest. Do you mind me asking why you're considering a long or short rest? I know why Laura is, but Krev, you brought it up.
Well, thought I was going to have a conversation with Lore, but it turns out I really am going to have a conversation with Lore.
Yeah, either way, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Just a different conversation than you thought.
Well,
I mean, look,
Krev hasn't actually been able to do this for some time, so he's in a good mood when we get through. Lore, I don't know how you want to play that part out.
I mean, I can imagine a few things. I guess we'll see what happens when we get there.
What happens when you get where to Imrith's lair?
I was thinking the night before we head out to Imrith's lair, or taking this long rest.
There is no long rest. We basically have a short rest. If I figure out
quick, I don't know. I mean,
if I figure out that Lore is planning to go and steal the sword, then yeah, I'm going to attempt to stop him. And
via the best way possible, the penis. I'm serious.
Oh man, don't sword block me.
No, I'm just saying that like you would.
I'm trying.
Go for a BJ rather than like waste your time wandering your castle. At least I would.
That I want to survive. So yeah, he would definitely. It's like if I figured it out, it would be.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what Law would do. Law would go. Given that Krev stopped him last time, I think he would go to Vorpal and he would explain, look, I need this sword. I'll show him like the crappy rapier I had to buy because I lost the Giant Slayer. And like, look, this is just not going to cut it against the dragon. I need something magical. I need something good. And I know these giants won't give it to me because they're afraid of it. But I need something. So all I'm suggesting to you, Vorpal, man to man, well, elf to man, is there any way we can just sneak inside this storeroom and find me something? Like, doesn't matter if it's my Dragon Slayer sword. I mean, sorry, it doesn't matter if it's my Giant Slayer or a Dragon Slayer or a equally powerful blade of some sort. But I need something because I don't want to die in this battle. You don't want to die in this battle. I don't want Krev to die in this battle. And I kind of pause a bit before I say Baral, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't want Baral to die either because the four amigos, all of us, we have to get through this alive. And we need to be at our best. Can you help me with this?
Ventus is nodding furiously with everything you say, right up until the end. And then he realizes what exactly it is you're asking him to do, and he goes, "Wait, what? What do you want?"
All I need from you.
No. Speak it plainly, sir. What is exactly that you want?
Look, we're gonna steal my sword back, or we're gonna steal something else.
You do realize that these people are sending giants with us to help with the fight.
It's cool. Look, see, they're gonna go prepare, and once they're done preparing, and by I mean you're gonna sneak inside a storage room. You're gonna find my sword, and then you're gonna come back out like nothing ever happens, and then we're gonna, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna look in there. No one's gonna know nothing. You're gonna hide it, and then once we get into the battle, I'm gonna pull it out. You know what? They may be a little bit confused. They may be a bit like awestruck, or who knows. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're gonna care too much when we bring back Emiliv's head. But this is very important though, because I need you to do this for me. Because you know what? Even if I die, I need this sword. I want to be buried with this sword.
So as Lord is talking,
where are you guys having this conversation, by the way?
I'm just like pulling him off to the side somewhere. I don't know, like what the giants are discussing or preparing or whatever. I'm just gonna like just yank him off to the side and like, look, my arm around him.
So
like,
in the little study there.
Yeah, sure.
Roll a stealth check, please, to see how quietly you're having this conversation. Okay, 1 second.
Oh, that's nice.
We're very stealthy.
Well, that's how quietly Ventus is talking back to you.
I'm very passionate, you know?
I'm
Very
sure you are.
passionate.
I'm just okay. One second.
The reason why Ventus is so stealthy is because he's not saying anything back. His eyes are just getting wider and
Just
wider
listening.
and wider as you continue talking. He's like slowly grasping your plan here.
How stealthy are they from me? Because it's not like I can't go just get it for them.
Yeah, you've got a
Well, look, you don't know what my plan is next. If I was a Whirlpool, who do you think the next person I'm going to come to is?
It's not like I can't shapeshift into like some small room.
I
and
need to
sneak in
restart
and then go grab it and
interface.
come back out.
sorry, Death. You need to restart something.
I need to restart Roll20 because it's gone black on me.
Okay, we'll wait for you then before we get into too much. And just let us know when you're back in Roll20. We are 30 seconds from loss of signal and awaiting the return of Dethic.
Question though. While these boys are having this conversation, if I can hear this, I mean, I just think it'd be funny if I just like walk out of the room, come back 2 minutes later, and hand them the sword. Were you looking for this?
Well, you can hear lore because your passive perception is 17 and his stealth is 15.
So, okay, so and
I'm
I know
worried
where
that the
this is,
giants
right?
are hearing this right now, to be honest.
I haven't.
No, but like, come on, you have to be really close for me to hear this. It's not like I'm shouting it, you know. Like I'm not being too loud. Like you'd have to be. I would say you have to be like within a reasonable distance to be able to hear me. Like surely, come on.
Okay, I will give them disadvantage, which on passive perception is -5
Oh, all right. I'll roll again.
because there's lots going on.
Telepathically, I say to Laura, "You're a dumbass. You could be talking. You could have been talking to me, buddy. With no one worse or no one any the wiser."
To be honest, there's also one other thing. If we're taking a break and a rest, and we're leading into a cataclysmic fight, I would kind of want, like, Krev would want to be spending time with Laura right now because he may not be able to again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So, you're having this conversation. The giants don't seem to be any aware of this conversation. But Bryle, you do. What's your passive again, Bryle? I thought it was 17, but I could be wrong.
18.
18, okay. So, Bryle, you're aware of the conversation.
So where is the stupid sword? Do I know where it is?
Yes, it's one room away.
Okay, can you roll me a stealth roll and see if I can sneak over to the door without anybody noticing?
Yeah. Stealth typically means that you can't be like you're not seen by the person in order to hide, but there's also rules. It's DM's discretion too, but there's rules around or the idea around if it's busy, things are going on. Like for example, you could hide in a busy mall
Hide
because
in plain sight.
exactly. Now, if it's you and one other person in the room and you're trying to hide from Ventus, well, good luck because Ventus is like,
So
where are you going?
if I go over to like the where the next room is and kind of like peek in and have a actively check to see if someone's in there,
Yep. So
good here.
what's your stealth modifier? Or I'll just
I'm
pull up your character sheet. Sorry.
yeah, if you can. I'm laying down because my eyeballs.
Yeah. Stealth.
Okay. I know this is really lore, in terms of a lore thing to do, but it is monumentally stupid compared to given what we just asked
I
them to
know.
help figure out.
Come on.
That being said, this is independent from what Witchy's doing because Kreb's not really paying attention to Witchy. Like,
Also, how
Krebs-
hard would it be for me to palm your bag of holding? Where is it?
I would notice that,
Sure,
and
you
I'd
would.
probably rip your arm off for it.
So Witchy, you have a stealth roll of 22. We'll kind of do this in parallel a little bit. So let's go with Krev first, and then we'll go to Witchy in a moment.
Oh, Krebs basically walked up behind Lore, and he's basically standing right up behind him, and puts arms on both over both shoulders and leans over, whispering into his ear. I couldn't help but overhearing what you're asking, Ventus, and it's just too dangerous. I'm really, really sorry, but... And he pulls you in a little closer. I'm going to have to keep you occupied for this, I think, he says with a smile across his face. And at which point he actually looks over to the Imperator. It's like, can we use that room that you held us in before? We'd like to prepare.
The medium size, the room that they put you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where they are planning on sending you for the short rest because that's the room
Okay.
that would be.
I'm just smiling, holding on to, and effectively grappling Lore, although it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
What's the stealth modifier on a mouse, especially to a giant?
What's a stealth modifier on a mouse?
Yeah, and
You mean like if you
do
turn
I get
into
a
a mouse?
yeah? And do I get advantage if it's against giants? Because would they even notice a mouse?
They probably wouldn't expect to see one in an undersea palace.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't have my thing here, but we can like role play some of this instead of making it too rules lawyery if you want.
Mhm.
So,
So
I'd go into that next room if I could and be all like sneaky, stealthily, trying to see if I can get over to where this other door is or whatever. Or, I don't know, wherever the stupid thing is.
Well, as this conversation has gone on and Krev moves over to deal with Lore, you take that opportunity to attempt to sneak away with a 22. I rolled perception checks on the Storm Giant guards because their job would be to be kind of keeping an eye out what's going on. And they rolled pretty well. They rolled an 18, but didn't roll as well as you did. So I guess through the distraction of everything that's going on, you slip out of this room. And it's just, it's about 30-ish feet down the hall to your right.
And I listen intently. Is there anybody in that room?
By just listening, no, you don't hear anything. So you're not at the doorway yet, looking in. You're just kind of listening as you approach it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you don't hear. You don't hear
I'll
anything.
sneak up to the door and try to peek in.
You sneak up to the door. You peek in. You see the giant slayer weapon leaning up against some crates. You see a couple other things that look like they would hold something inside of them. And the other thing you notice as you're looking around is that in front of you on the floor there seems to be some sort of, it's just the floor is not even right at the start of the room.
But nobody in the room?
Nobody in the room.
And does it... So this looks like it's like... I look around in the air to see if I can see any indication of any sort of wards or any sort of protections that would be in the air.
No, but roll me an investigation check,
Repeat
please.
that?
Roll me an investigate, or no, you need me to do that, right?
Please.
Investigation.
I know you really want the sword, Seth, but we're basically risking undoing everything we just spent the last hour and a half doing.
Well, it's not as stupid as you might think. Like, I have reasons for wanting it.
Oh,
Besides,
I know and I understand them. And
no. I'm
about,
saying,
you
from Law's, the way Law's thinking it as well is that
yeah, I know.
some of these giants might not be on the same level as Ufar. They might follow certain other giants, and if they, decide to...
You're looking for our insurance policy as well. Yes, I know. I'm just trying to think. It's one room that's sticking all four of us in. I want some privacy.
So there, right in front of the doorway, there is a 20-foot across the doorway. Like there's no other way to get in here except for to walk on this area that's 20 feet wide and 10 feet deep, and it is some sort of plate mechanism that looks like the stones would move down if you were to put any weight on it. But you don't. You, with your investigation roll of a 4, you don't know how it works. You just know that it's there.
Yeah, which makes me uncomfortable. So I look around. If nobody's looking, I turn into a winged snake.
Mm-hmm.
And I fly up to the top of the room and see if I can like nose my way in without anything triggering.
Yeah, this thing is just on the floor level, so it's a floor trap.
Yep.
And
so I fly in.
Yep.
I fly into where the sword is. How big is the sword?
I mean, it's like...
Can I hide it under my cloak?
I mean,
like strap it to my back and put my cloak over it or something?
It's the size of rapier, or no, like not... I wouldn't say rapier. It's like essentially like a katana, like a thin katana. So it's you can probably hide it. No, well, I took some liberties with the design of it. I think when we got it, whereas like because a rapier is a bit. Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense for a giant slave weapon to look like a rapier. I thought so. And I figured like a katana like sized weapon or shaped weapon would be a finesse weapon. So it kind of makes a little bit more sense if it was that kind of style.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an axe or any sword. That picture is an axe looking thing.
If I can fly in to where the sword is,
mm-hmm.
and being super attentive to my surroundings because I'm afraid of traps and things or something that I need a snake. Yeah, not as much as that, but yes. Then I'll if I think it's safe, then I will. Can I land where the sword is without triggering anything?
Yeah, you can land past that pressure plate area.
So I'd literally go right to the sword, make sure no one's watching, turn into Brile, grab the sword, stick it in my belt, whatever, under my cloak, and then turn back into a flying snake again.
Okay.
If nothing happens, I fly out, being super attentive and careful and peeking around corners. And then as soon as I get back in the room where I see Lore, I'm going to telepathically say to him, incoming flying snake, it's me. Let me mount on your arm. And take me in the room with you.
I believe that's the picture I used for it originally. I feel like it's themed a lot more giant, so like the runes and all that kind of stuff like feels like it would thematically fit. But yeah.
Okay, Brile, I'm good with everything except for a flying snake flying into the room stealthily as possible, landing on Laura's shoulder. Wouldn't you think at some point they would notice a flying snake show up and they're down one person?
If I'm flying
At some point, they're going to notice him missing.
well, if I'm flying all the way at the ceiling, for example,
Look,
maybe
I
not.
notice when a fucking fly goes in the room because I can catch it out of the corner of my eye.
They make noise too.
I'm just saying at some point they're probably going to miss a fourth person being around.
Yeah, and
This
then
was unwise.
I can also just like keep it all sheathed and hidden under the back of my cloak, whatever. And as soon as I get back in the room and no one's looking, turn back into me and just be wandering around like nothing's going on.
I'm surprised it made it this far, Dethic, but okay. So you turn back into Brile and walk into the room, sneak you back into the room. Is that the idea?
Yeah, but making sure that nobody's looking, like peeking.
Okay, I will let you keep the stealth roll from before. So you
you.
return
That is very
back into
kind.
the room 3-ish minutes later, and it seems luckily nobody saw you missing.
And I telepathically say to Laura, come with me to the room immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 shillings.
Gold pieces.
Shillings. There's no shillings in this world. Come on now.
Gold pieces.
And I, unfortunately, I do have to get going. So with that, can we end it there? And we'll pick up next session.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Good luck, everybody.
Holy fuck. I
Death
can never figure out what we've done. But yes, we will have a giant-ass fight against a blue dragon next time, and we'll hopefully be able to resolve Storm King's Thunder and see where things go.
Yeah, it could finish in a session. It could actually take a couple sessions just based on
It's a
some research I've done. And
Dude, I'm looking forward to it though, because I don't feel, have we ever had one of those kind of battles, like a proper like siege, full on like giants and dragons kind of like climactic epic battle like this before?
No, none. I would say none that you've called yourself. Earlier on in this, at Golden Fields, there was a siege against or an attack against Golden.
Oh
Fields.
yeah, I remember the Golden Fields
That was
battle.
pretty. That was pretty.
That
epic,
was cool.
But
yeah, it was.
But this is one you're kind of calling on yourself. Yeah.
This should be
Okay,
very cool.
Well, thank
Love
you.
it, Minya.
What's that?
Love it, Minya.
I thought there was that sounded like Spanish when it all kind of went together, and I was wondering what you're saying.
Okay, go away.
Thanks, everybody. Great session. Been looking forward to this one for a little while, and looking forward to the next few as well. Should be fun.
And Brett, sometime this week, if you see me online, holler at me and we'll talk about our little gnomes.
Yeah, I'll look at I'll look at the info that you sent me. Probably not right now, but soon.
Cool.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Strategize the hell out of this thing, and good luck. And have a good rest of your Sunday.
Will do.
All right, bye now.
And Seth, you owe me. Okay, bye.
Bye.